So, Tom, looking to the future, get the old crystal ball out. What is on the horizon that could impact investments, do you think?
I mean, it's going to be a continuation
Yeah.
of, there's no point in thinking very short term.
Right.
Because that's mostly driven by sentiment and short-term noise, but mostly the focus is going to be on inflation and central bank. So often you get a big focus on central bank rhetoric and the sort of guidance you're starting to get through. And people are looking for increasingly early warning signs coming through. And really, we're going to see inflation as being one of the key drivers. What we've seen is high, relatively stubborn, but peaking levels of inflation. What we now need to see is inflation coming down more meaningfully rather than by sort of 5-10 basis points at a time. Yeah. And I think that's going to be one of the key drivers. It'll drive how things settle from a central bank perspective. It'll drive things like the cost of capital for underlying investments. And it also gives a reference point for the way in which investors price their own assets. So all of those things are going to drive that sort of mid-term outlook.
Okay, thank you. That's interesting. So finally, Simon, is there anything that you're keeping an eye on that can reassure our viewers?
Well, I suppose at the moment that we are seeing, as Tom mentioned, kind of quite a lot of noise at the moment. So I think what's really important is to have a really consistent investment process. So we look regularly at valuations, fundamentals, sentiment, and external influences, and we have that as a consistent investment process, and that helps to cut away the noise.
I understood two of the things you said. So just recap, you look at what?
Valuations, so valuations of
got
financial. We look at fundamentals, so economic data and company data. Sentiment in terms of the market mood, in terms of are people positive or negative, and then external influences in terms of events such as Russia, Ukraine.
I was going to say that geopolitical, what's happening in China, what's that?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So yeah. But if you were to ask me a specific point, what are we focusing on? It would be inflation, as Tom kind of alluded to. I mean, it is really key at the moment. Central banks are obviously keenly watching that, and it relies on the fact that that's what's really driving interest rate policy. The positive news is we do think inflation is peaking, and that should be not only good for the consumer, but also good in the sense that central banks should be able to cut rates in the future, which should be supportive for markets.